placed by immigrants. Is that a winning strategy for the GOP in November? Let's put it to the debaters, Simone Sanders and Steve Cortez. Brother Cortez, do you agree,
yes,
and why?
With what? With what Laura Ingraham said?
Yes.
Look, I think it's interesting, by the way, Chris, that you begin by saying that we're being motivated by fear, because when I look in America right now, what I see is the exact opposite of fear. There's an optimism in the land that is palpable, and that's not just my opinion. You see it in every survey of consumer confidence, of small business. This country is soaring in every way, particularly economically. So your idea that we are fear-based, I think, is wrong on its premise, first of all. But
so
regarding specifically,
I'm not saying the country's scared. I'm saying that some of the most identifiable tactics that the GOP is using to get people out to the polls are based on fear. For example, Ingram saying, go vote, Steve, or some immigrant is going to take your place. Go vote, Steve, or the mob is going to get you. That's what they're saying. That's fear-based.
Well, let's be careful about our terms. But first of all, I'm saying we're not fear-based. We're optimism-based. And the optimism, again, in the land is palpable. But regarding what Laura said, regarding what well, you can laugh, but it's the reality.
All right,
regarding what Laura said, she's not talking about immigrants. She's talking about illegal aliens who are here. And this
she
is
actually said newly amnestied citizens.
Right. Exactly. Newly amnestied, meaning they didn't belong here in the first place, Chris. So they got amnesty because if the Democrats had their way, they would give amnesty to illegal aliens who don't belong here. This is a crucial difference. And you and others on the left constantly try to conflate.
Why do I get brushed with being on the left? Just because I test you?
Because you're on the left. Let's be honest.
What am I on the left of? What am I wrong about?
Really?
Here?
Chris,
because
really?
I don't think that what you're saying is accurate. That means that I'm on the left?
No. Are you telling me that you're fair with the president? Are you telling me you're not
100%.
an opposition advocate?
100%. I test what comes out of his mouth. When he does something that's right, we talk about it. When he does something that's wrong, we talk about it.
I've heard very little about that. But listen, regarding immigration, here's the thing. The left, let's excuse you for the moment. The left continually tries to conflate illegal immigration, which is a scourge upon this country, with legal immigration, which is a great gift to this country. And they have nothing to do with each other. And you're trying to do that right now. What Laura Ingraham was talking about was saying that normalizing and legalizing people who didn't belong here in the first place, that is an affront to American sovereignty. It's an affront to our security, both, and to our economy, by the way.
Okay. Well, first of all, we just had job numbers come out that show that there is an unprecedented number of unfilled opportunities. So obviously, you need laborers. They're going to come from somewhere, and as we all know, immigrant employment.
How about Americans coming back into the workforce? How about that? How about
really
African Americans and Hispanics coming back into the workforce, which they're doing like crazy?
And if they were,
that's the thing.
They're not.
Wages
otherwise,
are
you wouldn't have the openings. But let me get Simone in.
And
Simone,
wages are rising because of this.
Wages are rising incrementally. What's rising much faster is the deficit. Go ahead, Simone.
Look, Chris, the fact of the matter is if the picture wasn't so rosy as Steve would like to paint it, if that was actually true, Republicans would be running on that. Instead they're running around the country talking about mob rule and mob tactics and using fear-mongering. I'm very concerned about the rhetoric that both Laura Ingraham and Steve just used concerning immigration. Democrats are not confused about immigration policy. What folks are asking for, and frankly what I think a lot of Republicans in Congress would like is a family-based, humane immigration policy in this country that we will never get to. We cannot have an honest conversation when folks are using dehumanizing language such as that Steve Cortez just used. The facts of the matter are this: that
wait, what language did I use as dehumanizing?
You called folks illegal. You said that they never belonged here in the first place. And my question to you is,
they don't belong here in the first place.
Steve, if it was up to some folks, neither you and I, neither you or I might not be here.
American citizens get to decide. We can decide, and that's not racist, and it's not xenophobic. We as Americans, and I'm an immigrant son, I'm an Hispanic, we get to decide who belongs in this country, who will add to the prosperity and security of our country. And if you call that racist, and if you call that somehow
I'd like to know
small-minded,
you're putting more. Steve, stop. You're putting words in my mouth.
Well, then what are you saying?
No,
we
Steve,
have the right to determine who
what I'm saying
should be
to you
a new
is that the language, what I'm saying to you is that the language you previously used and Laura Ingraham has used is in fact racially tinged, and it is fear-mongering. It is inaccurate.
America's not a race.
It is inaccurate.
America's not
and
a race.
Your penchant to pivot to accusing folks of calling people racist, to accusing folks of wanting open borders and a number of the things you recently said.
Democrats want to get rid of
demonstrate,
ICE. Okay?
Stop it. Demonstrate that you all have nothing to actually run on.
Okay.
I'm so excited, Chris, that I am a member of a party that is going out there in these midterm elections, and we are talking about health care. We are talking about working for the small guy in America again. We're talking about what Democrats plan to do and will do in Congress and have done, frankly, when Republicans have failed to act on behalf of hardworking American people. I wish Republicans wanted to have that conversation in the closing argument of these midterm elections. But what we are hearing is, in fact, fear-mongering, and I think the flailing, if you will, of the Republican Party, because they do not think they can win this November.
I mean, Steve, fair
okay,
point.
Let's talk reality.
The GOP argument on immigration isn't one that's optimism-based. It's fear-based. If the Democrats win,
Chris,
if the Democrats win, they will do this, this, and this, and you will be in bad shape. That's not
optimistic for American workers. Yes, it is. And one of the key reasons, Chris, that workers are rising, particularly for blue-collar Americans, many of whom are black and brown, one of the key reasons that they're rising is because we're finally getting control of our immigration system. And what do the Democrats want to do? They want open borders, and they won't say that. They don't use that term. But listen, it is true.
You think illegal immigrants are taking the manufacturing jobs that are here?
Have you ever left the country?
Chris, where you are in New York, your mayor and your governor, who happens to be your brother, both of them want to get rid of ICE. If that's not open borders, then I don't know what is. It is true.
It's 100% untrue.
Your brother called ICE a bunch of thugs. He called them a bunch of thugs.
He does not want to get rid of ICE. Some Democrats do want to get rid of ICE. The governor is not one of them. He may have other problems. That's not one of them.
Well, he called them a bunch of thugs. Regardless, there are prominent Democratic politicians. This is not a fringe position any longer.
Right.
Who want to get rid of immigration enforcement. Who want to, by the way, there's a caravan right now.
And there are people on your side of the fence, Steve, that invite the Proud Boys to political speeches and have them come in as a bunch of bigots. And you invite them to your clubs to speak. Each side has fringe elements that have to be dealt with.
No, I have no room for bigots. America's not a race, okay? And we bleed
what does that
red,
mean,
white,
America's
and
not
blue.
a race?
Who was saying that?
We're not a race. There's nothing racial.
Who said
to this.
you are?
Protecting.
You are not a banana. You are not a banana, Steve.
Hold on, Chris. This network calls the president a racist just about every single night. So don't tell me that you don't talk about that you don't have the racism. It is true.
Steve, have you ever watched Donald Trump's show? You are really fishing, my friend, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. When the president says things about a specific group of people that is unfair or untrue, it gets called out. How people decide to judge that is up to them. But that's not about me. That's about what comes out of his mouth.
Talking about securing our borders and talking about, by the way, even restrictions on legal
Who says they don't want to secure borders? Who says they want no border?
Who does?
Tell me. Name somebody.
The governor of New York, the mayor of New York City.
No one says.
Senator Gillibrand from New York. Do you want me to keep going?
Sounds silly.
Pelosi.
The
governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Do you want me to keep going? The soon-to-be possibly governor of Florida, Gillum. All of them want to abolish ICE.
So does optimism to you mean bullshit? Is that what optimism means, Steve? Because you're just making stuff up. Simone,
and what I'm saying
who's a major candidate
in
your races right now who's saying, I want open borders.
Well, they don't use that
There should be
phrase.
no
They're
rules. You just used it. Quiet now. You said
they're smarter than
open borders. Well, you just said that's what they're saying. Pick your poison. Simone, who on the Democratic side, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Steve. I'm in a charitable mood. Who on this side is saying we should have the least restrictions possible? I want as much flow into the country as possible, no matter who they are or where they're from. What Democrats are pushing for that?
No Democrats are pushing for that, Chris.